Today we're going to look at notes for section 4.4, solving two-step inequalities. This is very similar to two-step equations. We're going to walk through the steps together. Step number 1 is to make a teeter-totter. So on my example right here, I will make a teeter-totter. Step number 2 is pinky test. I'm going to find my variable. It's right there. And I have to get the term with the variable all alone. So it says add or subtract to get the term with the variable all alone. So I want to get 5x all alone, so I'm going to add 4. So this will be gone, and I'm left with 5x is greater than or equal to 15. My next step is I'm going to find my variable again, and this time I see it's being multiplied by 5, so I'm going to divide by 5, and I get x is greater than or equal to 3. Okay? Now, it says under multiply and divide to get the variable alone, you need to flip the sign if you multiply or divide by a negative. In this case, I did not multiply or divide by a negative, so I did not flip it. My last step is to graph it. So I would go to 3. I would have a closed circle. X is greater than. So those are the steps we're going to be following today. It's really just a matter of practicing those steps. So go ahead and look at your first two ones that you need to practice. Try these, and then turn it back on, and let's look at them. Okay, let's go through our steps. First step says to draw a teeter-totter. Second step says to find your variable. You want to get it alone, so I'm going to subtract 4. We don't flip signs when we subtract. We don't need to worry about that. So I still am left with b over negative 3 is less than, let's see, 13 minus 4 is 9. Now I want to find my variable again. I see it's being divided by a negative 3, so I'm going to multiply by a negative 3. These will cancel. Now I have multiplied by a negative. So that's when I have to remember to flip my sign from less than to greater than in this case. And I have negative 27. This is my answer. So these numbers don't work, so we'll put in some numbers that work. Let's say negative 27 is right here. Let's say this was negative 26. This was negative 28. So I'm going to go here and have an open circle, and greater than means I'll go this way. On this next one, go back to your teeter-totter. Find your variable. You want to get that alone, so I'm going to add 7. So now I have 6y is greater than 12. Find my variable again. I'm going to divide by 6. And then we have y is greater than 2. I did not divide by a negative, so I do not need to flip the sign. So I'm going to go to 2. I will have an open circle. Y is greater than. Go ahead and try these two, then turn it back on and let's look at them. Alright, on this one you should have drawn your teeter-totter. Now this case my variable is right here. And I want to get rid of this 4, which is a positive 4, so you would subtract 4. This is gone. I have a negative 3d left on this side. I subtracted 4. That does not change the sign. So I keep my inequality in the same direction. And 19 minus 4 is 5. 15, sorry. 19 minus 4 is 15. Now I'm going to get my variable alone by dividing by a negative 3. Now you should have a little warning sign going off to you because you just divided by a negative. This means you need to flip the direction of your sign. 15 divided by negative 3 is negative 5. This should be your answer. So you go to negative 5 and you see it's got a line under it, so it's going to be a filled-in circle, and less than would be to the left. Alright, let's look at this next problem. We find the term with the variable, want to leave that alone, so I need to get rid of this plus 8. So I subtract 8. 9 minus 8 is 1. So I've got a 1 here. So make sure it doesn't look like a negative 1 there. 9 minus 8 is 1. These are gone, so you have a negative x over 4. Now this really means you've got x divided by a negative 4. Keep the negative with the 4. So we're going to multiply by a negative 4. And these are gone. Now I forgot to bring down my sign here. It should have been greater. I just multiplied by a negative though, so I need to switch it to less than. And negative 1 times negative 4 is negative 4. So that would be your answer. You go to negative 4 and it should be an open circle. And you should shade everything to the left because we had to switch our sign. Go ahead and try the next problem, and then we'll look at it together. Okay, this problem might look a little bit different because we've got some parentheses. Now you could distribute it through and then work out the problem, and that would work just fine. But I want you to see that really I've got my variable here that I need to get alone. And it's being multiplied by negative 7. So everything in the parentheses needs to get alone. So I'm going to divide first by negative 7. So I just divided by a negative. I'm left with x plus 3 on this side. I'm going to have to switch the sign from less than to greater than or equal to. And 28 divided by negative 7 is negative 4. Now we want to get our variable alone. We're adding 3, so we're going to subtract 3. Now subtracting does not flip the sign, so we leave it, and we have negative 7. So at negative 7, we should have a filled in circle. X is greater than negative 7 would go in this direction. So that is the practice of working with these inequalities. Here's a real-life application. It says a contestant in a weight loss competition wants to lose an average of at least 8 pounds per month during a 5-month period. How many pounds must the contestant lose in the 5th month to meet the goal? Now this is not on your paper, but this is important to look at. You have 4 months here, and we want to look at this 5th month. What does this need to be? It says we're going to add them all up. So I know that 12 plus 9 plus 5 plus 8 plus whatever I get this last month, the average of all of those. Now average means that you add them all up and divide by how many, and there were 5 of them. But that average needs to be at least 8 pounds. At least means it could be more than 8, but it can't be less. So I'd use a greater than sign. So that's kind of a lot of numbers. So let's simplify these numbers right here. Let's see, 12 plus 8 is 20, so 20 plus 9 is 29, plus 5 more is 34. So we have 34 plus x divided by 5 greater than or equal to 8. So here's another problem where our x is grouped. So we want to get this alone. So it's being divided by 5. So you're going to multiply by 5. And that leaves you with 34 plus x is greater than or equal to 40. And then to solve and get your x alone, you're going to subtract your 34. And you find out that x has to be more than, greater than or equal to 6. So that means they need to lose at least 6 pounds in their final month in order to meet their goal. So that's the time when we might use these inequalities. Now your homework is on the worksheet. There are 2 sides. We're going to start today working on this side. And just so you know, on this side you do not multiply or divide by negatives. You're just working on 2-step equations. If you finish this side today, you can go ahead and start on the other side, which does have 2-step equations. And then homework quiz 4.4. You don't have to worry about that until tomorrow. So go ahead and get started on your worksheet. And make sure you get that ready to turn in.